Greetings and welcome to A Wolverine View. Today I'd like to send a message in healing to many of those of you out there that may be feeling discouraged, may be feeling lost, and having some depression surface in your life because of all of the things that are going on. They're young and old, of all cultures and nationalities that have been suffering in silence. And I want to send a message of love and compassion to those that may need it. But first, I'd like to share a story. And this story is an analogy of what I'd like to do in this show. Once I was watching a nature show about a polar bear mother. I love polar bears. They are very massive and strong animals. They have a lot of stamina, and they're wonderful mothers in the bear category. So this mother polar bear was going up the side of a snowy embankment with her two cubs. And she turned around and she noticed that there was a male polar bear of enormous size following her. And it was mating season, so she was automatically aware of the danger. As this male polar bear followed her for quite a long distance, it seemed that at one point, the mother polar bear, she helped her cubs scoot ahead of her and kind of hid them or directed them behind a small tree. And as the male polar bear approached her, she turned around and stopped and confronted him. In my mind, I felt that she was tired of running and being stalked by him. And she had made the decision to confront him. So as he reared up on his legs and gave her a big growl, she turned into the most ferocious polar bear mother that you can imagine. She lunged towards him and bit him in the ear and neck. He was absolutely enraged, and they had a polar bear-sized scuffle. At the end, she had bit him and gnawed him so much that he simply gave up. He walked away with that crimson blood on his white polar bear skin, and he turned away. And she slowly went back, and her cubs were peeking behind the tree. They were going uphill, so they weren't sure about how they would move from that position, but she, like a great mother polar bear, came and helped them nudge above the tree lines and back up the mountainside. But this was the most important part of this story. After they were walking a little while, the polar bear cubs fell back a bit. And one of them kind of just sat down. And this mother polar bear that had just fought and had just traversed all this terrain, she went down on the side of the mountain where her little cubs were, and she laid down and she just let them nurse. Because she realized that they were traumatized. She wanted to continue to move on. Because like a good mother, she knows she has to get them to safety, even though she had a fierce fight. There could be another one looming. But because she was a good mother, she came back on the side of that mountain and she gave them a little comfort to calm them down, to let them know that everything was going to be all right. She was wise enough to know she needed to stop and to give them a little love and healing before their next journey. So what I'd like to do is now introduce a mentor of mine who's going to read something in this same vein. And you can take it in your mind as a great polar bear mother coming to you and giving you a little comfort in this tumultuous time. Just a few moments to comfort you so you can go back on your long, arduous journey. Thank you for joining us.
This is from the Urantia book, page 38, section 4, The Divine Mercy. Mercy is simply justice tempered by that wisdom which grows out of perfection of knowledge and the full recognition of the natural weaknesses and environmental handicaps of finite creatures. Our God is full of compassion, gracious, long-suffering, and plenteous in mercy. Therefore, whoever calls upon the Lord shall be saved, for he will abundantly pardon. The mercy of the Lord is from everlasting to everlasting. Yes, his mercy endures forever. I am the Lord who executes loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight. I do not afflict willingly, nor grieve the children of men. For I am the Father of mercies and the God of all comfort. God is inherently kind, naturally compassionate, and everlastingly merciful. And never is it necessary that any influence be brought to bear upon the Father to call forth his loving kindness. The creature's need is wholly sufficient to inspire the full flow of the Father's tender mercies and his saving grace. Since God knows all about his children, it is easy for him to forgive. The better man understands his neighbor, the easier it will be to forgive him, even to love him.
Well, thank you so much. That is one of my mentors and one of the light workers that is doing good works every day. And I encourage you, when you feel alone, abandoned, and overwhelmed by what you see, refer to this video and remember, a good father would never abandon you. I leave you in peace, love, and prosperity.